Good evening, Voice of Canada. We welcome our viewers of our weekly talk show. I'm your host, Asphandiar Wadiwalla, with our co-host, Cindy Young.
Pleasure being
We
here.
are very well-known guest this evening, Salman Tariq Khan, who is well-known in the communities. He is an activist, and now he's also pursuing to be future, being a candidate for one of the national parties here in Ontario. So we welcome Salman Tariq Khan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wadiwalla. Thank you, Ms. Young. I am absolutely honored to be at the show. And I also like to extend my thanks to Voice of Canada for giving me this opportunity to present myself and introduce myself.
Go ahead.
A very special welcome.
Thank you.
For being
Thank you
here.
very much.
Salman, being a community worker and a political activist, could you inform us of your present and future endeavors that you plan to undertake during 2023?
So I am a community worker. I'm a volunteer. I'm an activist, and I think it's just the right time for me to step up and present myself as a candidate for the nomination for federal politics,
Which has got
for
another 2
Conservative-
years. Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
for Conservative Party of Canada. So I'm looking forward to that.
Hey, thank you.
Salman, you're welcome to our show. And we would like to know more about yourself, about your young, growing family, and your lovely spouse.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I was really looking forward to that. I've got a beautiful wife and 3 kids who keep me on my toes, and my spouse is, absolutely wonderful. She gives me great assistance, support, and guidance in my work and in everything I do. So I'm absolutely grateful for that.
Acha, inform our viewers of Voice of Canada about the firm which you manage, RCIC Solutions, Immigration Consultants, sorry. What are the functions of that firm? What kind of services you provide to Canadians?
Mr. Wadiwalla, again, thanks for that question. So the name of my firm is Dovercourt Immigration, and by RCIC, that is the designation which I hold, and that means Regulated Canadian Immigration Consultant.
Lovely.
So that is my line of work, and I enjoy it every day, every morning when I wake up. I look forward speaking to people and bringing some value to their aspirations and dream. And as we all know, that Canada is a country that is built on immigration, that is built by immigrants, and that thrives and prospers because of immigration. So I'm just doing my role and playing my part.
Because we have got about 193 communities and nationalities.
Absolutely.
And 40 religions and faiths here in Canada.
Very diverse.
This is what Canada stands for,
That's
know.
right.
And we are a
it's the melting point for all the
highly
communities.
diversified
Yes.
country in the world. And our citizenship ministry is the biggest in the world.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. Canada is a melting point of cultures, of communities, the way they are included, the way, we thrive on diversity, and the way we put everything together to make this country beautiful.
And being a young country, and still being a young country with the largest land holding in the world, second largest land holding.
Absolutely.
We have got a huge area.
Yes, and we have 25% of world's freshwater reserves.
Yes.
Which are in
Definitely.
itself,
We're very lucky with that.
yes, exactly.
But unfortunately, our population is still 37.5 million.
Yes, and
That also we have grown in the recent years.
It's true. Yeah.
And one of the reasons is immigration. So that just shows how important it is for our country to keep churning and keep, that economy growing. And there is a lot of contribution from new immigrants.
Thank you. Go ahead.
In your educational qualifications, your bio shows that you are an LLB from University of London. What does that mean, and how do you use your degree in running your firm?
So LLB means I'm Bachelor's of Law from University of London, and since my profession is a regulated profession, the law background, the law knowledge helps me a lot. And again, it all comes down to giving the right advice to my prospective, applicants and clients, and I enjoy doing that. My background and knowledge of law really helps me do my job in a best possible manner.
Nice.
So.
Salman, you are a member of the Federal Conservative Party of Canada, a proud member, I would say. So, what would you be contributing to our party? Would you be a future candidate of our party for the future elections, which is going to take place in 2 years' time?
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I think it is in politics. It is a continuous journey, and if you feel um, you are fully prepared to do the job, I think for any candidate or across the parties and across the political prism, if somebody has the confidence to put the name on ballot, that in itself is a fantastic thing. I also look forward doing that in the next federal elections, and
you have got a lot of time.
yes,
Couple
and
years.
hopefully I am doing all the right things right
Right
now.
thing, and the groundwork you already started.
Absolutely, sir.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
From your bio, we are happy to read that you are a family man with a loving wife and 3 kids who really keeps you busy in your life, as well as other activities that you're involved in. If you could please give us a brief account of these.
Yes, so my wife assists me in my immigration work as well,
Wow.
and
nice.
Acha, she helps you in the firm also.
yes,
Oh, very nice.
and as they say, you need somebody with sanity around you. So that she is exactly the one who keeps
Yeah.
me on my toes, keeps me focused, keeps me, my concentration right up where it is required. And whatever I have achieved, if at all anything in life, there's a lot of contribution from my best half, and I'm very proud of her, being next to me and contributing and educating me and showing and guiding me. So she's my guiding star. As far as my kids are concerned, just like in a normal Canadian family, they're growing kids, and I have 2 boys and a daughter. The daughter goes to a university, and the one boy is doing a diploma in immigration, and the other one is going to middle school. They at times they have their tantrums, but we enjoy their company, and we holiday together. We go for movies, eat out, just like any normal Canadian family. And
Nice. Thank you so much.
Salman, during the current year, we just elected our strong party leader of our Federal Conservative Party, Honorable Pierre Poilievre, who is also a member of Parliament. He has got a long political experience since the age of about 19. He is connected to our parties. He has seen the grassroots level of our party because he has even worked in the EDAs from Calgary. Then he has worked in other offices, elected offices, and now he finally became our party leader. But prior to that, we lost our 2 leaders who were not successful in the last elections. But we are very happy that the current leader will be able to defend our party. And do you think a seasoned prime minister like Justin Trudeau will be able to overtake the power?
That's a long question, but thank you very much for that.
It's a general explanation. I gave it to you.
But what I would like to say is I am very proud to be part of the team of Honorable Pierre Poilievre. He is somebody who has inspired me towards what I'm doing right now in Conservative Party. And I think I solely believe that he has great ideas to lead Canada to, truly in a place where every Canadian would be having great life. The affordability, rising prices, and all these are great challenges which we have seen in present times since last 8-9 years of liberal rule as well. Unfortunately, we've not been able to translate our success in other parts of Canada, especially in GTA and all these places. But with Mr. Poilievre, we look forward towards the next Conservative government in Ottawa, and we'll absolutely looking forward to sweep in all across the Canada, because he's dynamic. He has great ideas. He believes that the power should be returned to the people, and there should be a lesser government where there should be people be able to take the charge of their lives and the decisions which will determine their future. And he has a great political experience. He worked with Honorable Stephen Harper, and he was a young parliamentarian, has enough experience. His power of speech is brilliant. His ideas are motivating, and he's a great leader.
And
Actually,
a fresh
a lot
blood.
of people, yes,
Young,
actually,
fresh blood.
a lot of people who have been kind of frustrated with the other two parties have now joined this movement and this inspirational leadership that Mr. Poilievre presents. And Canada is just ready to welcome the next Prime Minister of Canada in form of Honorable Pierre Poilievre. And I'm one of his volunteers. I'm very proud of it.
Good. Go ahead.
Salman, as you're aware that after a long COVID-19 pandemic of 2 years, our world and Canada is facing many new problems like high rate of inflation. Currently, it stands at 6.9%, but last month it touched up to 7.2%. The bank of interest has increased nearly 5 times. Our Canadian dollar is recorded at its lowest rate with US dollar. Food prices have increased from 11 to 22% of various commodities of daily use, and our gas prices have also increased. We've all felt that, that's for sure, which has hit the sky. And our Canadians cannot afford any more, and people are in a bad shape. What is the solution to this problem?
Problems.
Many problems.
Complex issues.
Yes.
That's a very loaded question. There's lots in there.
So, again, I am
Take your time and point by point go.
Yes.
Give you answers.
Rising prices and rising cost of raw material, rising cost of oil, and all these things have, have a lot of inflationary effects on the life of all Canadians, and everybody is seriously impacted of that. In addition to that, we have seen some loose fiscal and monetary controls in last 6-7 years, which has added fuel to the fire to the whole situation. One of the reasons I am so inspired by the wisdom of Honorable Pierre Poilievre is that he has just the right ideas of putting a right kind of monetary policy, which would result lowering the inflation. And I absolutely agree that these are huge challenges. Some of them have international impact and reason because of things which are beyond Canada's control. But still, there are things that the government
of Canada can control,
and that way it would release some kind of pressure from the lives of common Canadians, which is very important. Actually, this is the role of a government, to make life better for Canadians by putting in the right policies, which would check the rising prices, employment levels, and affordability of all Canadians.
Thank you.
We will be taking a short break and we'll return shortly. Welcome back after a short break in our weekly talk show, Voice of Canada, which is hosted by Asphandiar Wadiwalla. My co-host is Cindy Young, And our honored guest this evening is Salman Tariq Khan, a community activist from GTHA. Welcome, Sir Salman, to our show. I would like
Thank
to
you.
ask you a very simple question about the current inflation going on here in Canada. The gas prices have skyrocketed, which is currently not affordable by any common Canadian citizen.
Very
It is
true.
as of today, it is about 177 to 179 per liter, which is
And going
simply
up.
not at all affordable. But still, the provincial government nor the federal government has taken any prior action to give any relief to the people of Canada, whereas our neighboring giant country, USA, their president gave a special discount from their own, cutting their own taxes. So here I would like to emphasize that on each and every liter, the federal government is charging 11 cents per liter. And there is a cut of for province also. So if the people are so hard up for buying gas, which is a common necessity, they can give some relief to our Canadians, like other countries. Another country in Southeast Asia has arranged a deal from oil producing countries, but they have a refining capacities. So they brought the oil and they are giving the gas at a very reasonable price. So what is our Canadian government doing as far as the gas prices are concerned? Could you emphasize on it?
Yes, this is a very pertinent question because gas prices are directly related to the inflationary pressures that we
It affects everything.
witness every day. So I think I believe carbon tax is unnecessary to
It's
the
a burden.
proportion that it is being levied on Canadians. Because remember, Canada is very small as when it comes to the percentage polluters that are that are affecting the climate change and environment. So if you are going to tax Canadians unnecessarily to the extent that it would have impact on their everything, their daily lives, I think it is pretty unfair. Number one. Number two, Canada has a lot of oil. So why can't we have right mechanism that will deliver oil from Western Canada
We have got huge reserves.
Yes, towards Eastern Canada. And actually, we should be, Canada should be, able to take lead in providing relief to Europe as well when it comes
First,
to.
at least we can meet our domestic
Exactly.
requirements.
I think it is because of the shortcomings in the present government that has been there for 8-9 years that they have been unable to dig out our own oil for our own people. So it's simple as that. If you don't have oil and you're going to import it, you have oil, but you're not going to utilize it and you're going to import it, then it is going to directly relate to higher prices, which we talked earlier. And as I said, there are some developing nations, BRIC countries, BRICKS, that are kind of have huge impact with their churning out industries that is affecting the environment. So they are the ones who should be paying more, not Canada, because Canada is not a big polluter at all.
Let me point out and inform our viewers and our honored guest and my co-host that we have a refinery in Sarnia, Ontario. But unfortunately, according to our information, the Sarnia refinery only is consumed up to 33%. Why can't the full capacity be utilized at Sarnia is a big question mark. Who is stopping our government of Canada of refining more gas, oil and gas, so it can meet our domestic requirements here in Ontario? So here from our platform of Voice of Canada, I urge upon the elected people to urge our governments to utilize full facilities of Sarnia refinery and increase its capacity, so we can take out more domesticated refined gas and oil.
So that is a great knowledge. I think if there is a responsible government that would take note of important and
it's a true facts what I have derived, told the
related
viewers.
issue. So we need to be spending money in this kind of infrastructure, which will translate into having our own oil to our own dependency. So I would second that, and I would also urge the present government to take necessary steps to get that refinery, working and making the right investments in it.
And fully utilize.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Salman, kind of building on the whole thing of being very difficult for Canadians to be living with the costs of everything. Here in Canada, it's also become impossible for the first-time
Buyers of houses.
And the prices have reached incredible levels. Plus, the mortgage rates have gone up. The higher bank interest rates, they've increased nearly 5 times this year. If you could tell us how to address these acute issues.
So housing rights are human rights. It's simple as that. And every Canadian should be, have the opportunity to afford their own homes. But there have been very less attention towards this burning issue in last 10, 15 years. And what I strongly believe is that all 3 tiers of the government need to sit down and make the right kind of incentives and policies that will actually make affordable housing in the reach of every young Canadians, new Canadians, and all Canadians. Housing has become a crisis.
Acute problem.
It's an acute problem. It's a crisis,
yes.
And it is very shameful that we would have people living on, underneath the bridges, and
shelters.
and the shelters are overflowing. And actually, we have unseen housing challenge as well, because young people, they are spending lives on friends' couches, because they literally
and they are surviving on check to check from their pay.
Paycheck to paycheck.
So in last many years, the government has not taken the right kind of approach to match growing prices or growing increase in home prices with the wages and the salaries. That should have kept some kind of proportion, but they failed to do that. It looks like that they have been favoring developers more than the end users. There have been speculation, and that has also fueled the foreign money to flow into Canadian housing, resulting in negating the right of hardworking Canadians to have access on right kind of housing. I sincerely believe that the next government in Ottawa, which will be a conservative government, as it seems from the polls and from the mood of people as well, would be very much concerned towards this issue and will do its best to resolve it. Again, I would like to mention that our leader, Mr. Pierre Poilievre, has multiple times talked about affordability, home affordability, especially in big cities like Toronto and Vancouver.
But that is a provincial problem. It's not a federal issue. It's a provincial problem, and the province should take steps to ensure that they should bring in more housing units in the province of where they are governing.
Housing.
Yes, I agree with you. What I'm saying is that all layers of government should sit together to resolve and address this very concerning.
And yesterday only they have announced a housing policy. A province has already announced, and they are making a plan to build huge, massive houses at affordable prices. Because due to shortage and other things happening, the eyes have opened now. The inflation is skyrocketing, and it is becoming very, very difficult for anybody to buy a new house.
Yes, it's very difficult.
Yeah, it is very difficult for a young Canadian to put the step on property ladder, the first step, and it has literally become unreachable. I think they have to probably work for thousands of years to just get money together to put, deposit for their first starter home. So it is
Yesterday
very heartbreaking.
they brought another reform policy that any foreigners who wish to acquire property in Ontario will have to pay an additional tax of 25%. It was raised from 20 to 25%. So they are trying their best, but step by step. At the same time, only yesterday, the Bank of Canada increased its bank rate now. It's at 3.25% as of today.
Yes.
So that is also becoming a very, very big burden for the people who pay mortgages.
Absolutely.
It has made a big difference in form of dollars every month, because it's 3.25% is not a small amount. As during the previous regime of our Conservative Party, the mortgage and interest rate was very, very low. We hardly paid around 1 to 1.5% on mortgage, even 2%.
Yes.
But now that has gone up to 3.25, and the mortgage rates have touched up to 5%.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
So that is totally becoming impossible for a person to pay every month the mortgage of his or her house.
I think Bank of Canada is not right on top of the things when it comes to the monetary policy and what they have done in last few months or a year and a half.
To beat the inflation, they don't have any other tool.
Yes, but still, you can say that the response has not been proportionate to the requirements of the of this huge issue, and our leader, Honorable Pierre Poilievre, has reservations about Bank of Canada, the way it has dealt, and I would absolutely second that.
Achha, Salmanji, this week we saw third tier elections of a local council. Will you throw some light on it?
Yes,
in Ontario.
Yes. So a municipal government is very important component of the whole.
It's a third tier of our government.
It's a third tier of the government, and when it comes to the deliverance of some basic civic necessities, that are the responsibilities of the municipal government. And what I feel personally is that there should be induction of newer ideas into the municipal politics, and the only way we can do is put a limit on the number of terms that any incumbent would serve. And unfortunately,
currently there is no limit.
There is no limit. So people who are there are basically there for their lives to enjoy the perks and the pensions and the privileges
at the cost of taxpayers.
At the cost of taxpayers. You see, Mr. Wadiwalla, evolution is very important in anything, and evolution only happens when there's a change. So if there is no change, and there are people who have not done very good, and they are just there because you cannot have new people. There are barriers of entry towards that political frame. Then that is not a very democratic thing. I would strongly urge the provincial government to look into the
affairs of the third tier,
affairs of municipal governments, and put a limit on the number of terms that any
elected person,
office holder can have. And we have already seen that it is a practice across the border, and it is very successful. So why can't we have it in our basic...
And make it more democratic?
Yes.
Because here the people have turned their wards into colonies and private properties.
Yes.
The way they talk to the own taxpayers as if they own the ward.
Yeah.
That is so unfortunate in a democratic country like Canada.
Absolutely. Canada stands for all the great things which we are proud of, and democracy is...
And equal rights.
Fundamental and part and parcel of our Canadian value system. And I would second that we need to translate this into the municipal dynamism of politics as well. And the best way to do it is by imposing a limit on the number of terms which anybody can serve.
Thank you. We will be taking a short break and will return shortly. Welcome back after a short break in our weekly talk show, Voice of Canada, which is hosted by Asphandiar Wadiwalla. My co-host is Cindy Young.
Our Ontario's health system has collapsed as after the pandemic, especially the waiting rooms in our ERs in Mississauga and Brampton and other major city hospitals have gone up to between 10 to 14 hours in some cases. People are suffering in pain while waiting for a doctor to attend to them. Is it acceptable for us Canadians to be paying such high taxes, and how do we improve our health system here?
Yes, it's actually a provincial issue, but as a Canadian, I still
We are all concerned and affected.
Yeah,
exactly. So
very.
I would have my opinion as a responsible
citizen.
Canadian citizen and part of the community. And I believe there's only one community, which is the Canadian community. That is, health system has a lot of challenges. There are long wait lines, and the ERs are overflowing, and it needs all the right investments in number of beds that should be increased, and new hospitals should be built. Plus, we should invest into our frontline health workers, our medical and paramedics, doctors, and all the medical fraternity, because they are the saviors, and we have witnessed that during the pandemic when there was nothing else that could save human beings from this, nightmarish pandemic, which was one of its kind in the history of mankind. So I think they deserve that. They should be they should have the right opportunities to flourish in their fields and in their careers, and the government should aid it. Government should make all the opportunities come true for them and make the right investments in healthcare sector. Right now, there are a lot of challenges, and I accept that.
And let me give our viewers the good news that our provincial government is bringing a new hospital, most ultra-modern hospital, best in Ontario, in Mississauga, near the Trillium Hospital. And God willing, during this term, they plan to complete that new hospital with over 2,000 beds for Mississauga. And not only it's for Mississauga, but for any city, major cities can acquire the facilities of it. So the government is doing the best. The ground has been broken, and I think the construction has started. Plus, they plan to renovate the whole Etobicoke Trillium Hospital, also expanded, because currently they are not running the emergency department. And only today I heard the news in our national news channel that sick kids is also being stressed very badly. They are advising people not to come to sick kids with small ailments. Try to go to your first family doctor, because they have got demand of over 300 per day, and they cannot handle more than 230 patients average in 24 hours. So the waiting time has gone up to 14 to 18 hours. And when the children who are suffering, and you take your child in such an emergency condition, it is not advisable for you to go and wait for 14 hours at our world famous sick kids hospital in Toronto.
It's horrible.
I think you just said all the right things, and I would absolutely agree with that. The demographics of Toronto has been changing, and the surrounding areas. So this is kind of a long-term policy that needs to be put in place, because there's almost 500,000 new Canadians coming to Canada every year, and we welcome them because they are
plus refugees.
Yes, and now we have to make smaller cities or smaller towns more equipped, and incentive for the people to go and start their lives there as well. Because if everybody, and again, I'm just saying that for the perspective that we should have more smaller towns with the infrastructure that can handle and absorb the growing needs of incoming population. So it needs some visionary leadership, and absolutely, all three levels of government, or actually in this, all the federal and provincial government should work hand to hand
Hand to hand, yeah.
to overcome this challenge.
Salman, as you are aware, fully aware that recently the crime rate has jumped to 63%. Otherwise, we were a crime-free city. Very little crimes we used to see in the past. I'm here also since nearly 25 years in Canada. But now what the conditions of crimes are increasing are due to many factors. Number one, there is unemployment, inflation, and then there is a high rate of interest, and so many things that the people are unable to put food on the tables. So the crime is increasing, they are looting, they are stealing the cars. Domestic violence have considerably increased during the pandemic, which is not at all good for a civilized community or society like Canada. We are civilized, educated people. So these are not acceptable. And we the immigrants came to Canada, no, not for all this stuff. We left our countries of our origin due to the problems we were facing. But now, again, if the same problems are going to persist in a country like Canada, it is becoming really, really alarming.
It is.
Okay, it's not safe in the night to venture out, to leave your car parked on your driveway. The costly cars are being picked and immediately shipped to African countries. So there should be some deterrent, to stop crimes, reduce the crimes, and our police manpower is much lesser than what the rate of crime is increasing. So what would you say to the crime ratio in especially in Ontario and GTHA, cities of?
So I can relate to what you say is because I have seen the changing fabric of Canadian society over last 8-9 years, and it has happened very quickly. So I can attribute various reasons for that, and one of the things that is the prices of everything, daily life has been going up, but the wages and salaries of Canadians have not matched that. So that has actually created two kind of problems: the frustrations, which has led to mental health issues, and 1 in 3 Canadians are directly being impacted because of that. And the second is that it has resulted in criminality. So it is absolutely not acceptable with a great society like a Canadian society that we should have that kind of crime and crime numbers. But we have to look at the root of the problem, and I would say that the root of problem lies in short-sighted policies where governments have not invested in the people, and that has resulted in multi-layered problems like increase in violence, increase in mental health issues, and at the same time the police, which needs to be. We have to look at the way we police, to be honest with you. So we have to really look at the new and visionary way, the way that we can, that the police forces can counter the illegal, unnecessary activities and the criminal elements of our society. But we must remember that Canada, like any other Western nation, is a self-vigilant kind of environment where people have to take the ownership and be responsible in the way they act. So I would say that we need to introduce these strong Canadian values to everybody and to New Canadians as well, where they would wholeheartedly appreciate that what Canada stands for. Canada stands for all the great and finer human values. And one of that is that even if you leave your door open, nobody's going to come and take anything.
But it's
from
no
you.
more is that the conditions are prevailing.
Yes, that is a very unfortunate thing. So again, you see, when you talk about politics, so what is politics? Politics is to have a discussion that which way our society is moving. And if these are the issues that are impacting, and this is something which can grow even to unproportionate,
Levels.
levels,
Yes.
then you have to address those things. You have to represent the aspiration of the people by legislating and contemplating on the right kind of policies to reflect what they like to see in the future. And that is very important, to have a responsible leadership.
But do you think we need brand new police reforms in our country?
Um, this is I would answer everything in my personal capacity, and I believe that I strongly believe that world has changed post pandemic.
Demographics has changed, world has
Demographics have
changed.
changed,
Yeah.
and the issues have changed.
Issues
So
have
the
changed.
solutions and the reasoning and the
Also
way we
changing.
address those things should also be
Mhm.
looked at. It is not a one-line answer that I can give you, respectable Mr. Wadiwalla, but the one way I can definitely, uh, you know, give my opinion is that we have to look out of the box. We have to look of newer way of policing. We have to bring technology in, because, as I said, we have seen a 360, a new for the world. So that has impacted the way we work, the way we interact, the way we socialize, the way. So there are newer challenges, and for the newer challenges, we need newer measures to address those.
And yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much for your insights on that. Salman, would you like to give your concluding comments for our viewers of Voice of Canada?
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm absolutely privileged, honored to be here on your show, Ms. and Mr. Wadiwalla. I am eternally grateful to you for giving me the opportunity today to present myself, introduce myself, and talk about all these issues
All
which
the
are
aspects and
very
issues. Yeah.
which are very relevant to Canadians.
Very much so.
And thank you very much to this platform, Awaz TV, Voice of Canada, and I have absolutely enjoyed every minute of this fantastic conversation. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Viewers of Voice of Canada, due to paucity of time, my production is showing me a signal that our time is practically over for this interview. We thank our honored guest, Salman Tariq Khan, to be here with us this evening and express all his views about our current difficulties we face in our lives these days after the pandemic has over, but the problems are still persisting on us.
Yes.
And we will have to, everybody have to work hard and solve these issues and solve our problems so we can once again return to our back to normal life as soon as possible. With that note, I would say goodbye, good luck, good night, and God bless Canada. Thank you all for viewing our show, Voice of Canada. Keep watching. We show every Saturday at 8 p.m. So don't forget to send your views and ideas about Voice of Canada, how to further improve. Thank you. Good night, goodbye, and adios.